Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Welcome to this international press conference for the delegation of the Committee on International Trade of the European Parliament. The delegation is led by the Honorable Anna Michelle Asimakopoulou. She's the chair of the delegation, the chairperson. She's also the vice chair of the Committee of International Trade of the European Parliament and head of the delegation, which I'm very honored to invite her to speak on behalf of the delegation. You're honorable.
Oh, it's on, okay. Thank you very much for that introduction, Madam, and thank all of you for being here today. It's my great pleasure and honor to be leading a delegation of 7 distinguished colleagues from the International Trade Committee of the European Parliament, representing all across political groups of the European Parliament, from Germany, from France, from Belgium, from Sweden, from the Netherlands, and from Greece. That's me. I'm from Greece. Yes.
非常感谢大家前来，那我也非常荣幸，也非常高兴的能够带领着7位优秀的国贸委员会的委员，一起来代表欧洲议会来到台湾。我们这个代表团呢，代表的是跨政党党派的一个访问团，当中我们包括来自德国、法国、比利时、瑞典、荷兰，还有来自我的国家，来自我的国家希腊，这个等6个国家。
We have had a very full program for the past 3 days, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank the Minister of Foreign Affairs and all his wonderful colleagues for organizing such an excellent high-level visit.
首先呢，我们过去3天以来行程非常的丰硕，我也想要借此机会特别感谢外交部以及所有卓越的同仁们，让我们这次能够非常卓越、非常棒的高层的访问。
This visit has been marked by efficiency and generosity, and we've had the opportunity to see the President, the Premier, the head of the Legislative Yuan, ministers of the Cabinet, representatives of civil society, who were all open, forthcoming, and very frank, and our exchanges were at the highest level.
这次我们的访问非常的有效率，大家也都非常的对我们非常的慷慨。我们这次觐见了总统，也拜会了行政院长、立法院长，还有许多内阁的各部会的首长，以及许多公民团体的代表。我们与这些高层的谈话都非常的开诚布公，我们交谈的层级也非常的高。
This is the 3rd time representatives of the European Parliament visit your country, the first being the Committee for Disinformation, the second our Vice President Beer. The fact now that you have 7 members of the INTA committee is a testament in and of itself to how important we consider our relationship with Taiwan to be.
这是我们欧洲议会第3次有代表团官方访问台湾，第1次是对抗假讯息特别委员会的访问，第2次是副议长比尔，再来这次我们是有7位来自国贸委员会的7名欧洲议会的议员，这也显示着我们对台湾高度的重视。
We come here in a spirit of friendship and knowing that the foundation of our relationship are our common and shared values of democracy, respect for freedom, the rule of law, and human rights.
我们这一次来到台湾访问台湾，秉持的是一个友谊的精神。我们双边的关系的基础就是我们共同的价值，举凡民主，我们对自由的尊重、法治以及对人权的尊重。
And we thank the government, we thank the people of Taiwan for standing with the European Union on the right side of history when it comes to the unconscionable war of Putin in Ukraine.
我也特别感谢台湾的政府以及人民跟我们欧盟站在一起。尤其是当俄罗斯入侵乌克兰的时候，台湾跟欧盟一起站在历史正确的一方。
The European Parliament has adopted over the past few years many resolutions on issues related to Taiwan, to China, to its relationship with Taiwan.
我们欧盟呢，在过去几年以来也通过了许多决议案，都是跟与台湾关系、对中关系以及中国台湾两岸关系相关的一些决议案。
In these resolutions, taking into account the One China policy, we recognize, as we say, that on the democratic island of Taiwan, it is up to the people of Taiwan to decide how they should live.
我们在决议当中虽然秉持着一中政策，我们欧盟的一中政策，但是同时我们也注意到，也认可，就是在民主的岛屿台湾上面，唯有台湾的人民才能够决定自己的生活方式。
We have also openly condemned violence, aggression, threats, and economic coercion from China, and saluted and commended Taiwan for its measured and reasonable response to recent violations and aggression over the summer after the visitor from Speaker Pelosi.
我们公开地谴责中国一切形式的经济的胁迫以及威胁、暴力的武力的威胁，同时也赞赏台湾对于中国升高其态势审慎的一个回应。同时，尤其是在今年夏天，裴洛西众议长访问台湾之后，台湾应对的方式，面对中国蓄意升高紧张情势，台湾的应对的方式。
Taiwan and the European Union have an important trading relationship, and our message today is very clear. We are here hoping to be able to further the deepening of this trade relationship in the near future. And I want you to know that you have in front of you today friends of Taiwan.
我们这一次来访，特别就是要加强我们跟台湾跟欧盟之间非常重要的一个贸易关系，这个关系非常的重要。因此，我们此次来台就是要发送一个非常清楚有力的讯息，那就是我们希望在近期的未来能够深化这样子重要的经贸关系。那也要让各位知道，你们眼前我们在座的各位，我们所有的访宾都是台湾的好朋友。
Madam Spokeswoman, I'm at your disposal.
Thank you very much, Your Honorable. Thank you for this excellent word. If, with your permission, we would like to also to introduce the important member of the delegation that is coming with you. So I would like to also introduce the Honorable Mr. Jürgen Warmon. He is the Vice Coordinator of European People's Party Group in the Committee of International Trade. 国贸委员会人民党团副协调人万邦议员 here. Would you like to say a few words or you? Yeah, it's okay. Okay, I'll continue for the brief introduction and then I'll. Also, with us, we also have the Honorable Catherine Van Brandt. She is the member of the Committee of the International Trade. 国贸委员会冯安兰议员 with us. Also here with us, the Honorable Marie-Pierre Vadrende. She is the Vice Chair of the Committee of International Trade here with us, and she's from France as well. Okay, and here we have more also from Sweden. We have the Honorable Karin Karlsbro. She's a member of the Committee of International Trade as well. 国贸委员会的卡博若议员。Also, with us, we have the Honorable Michael Hoegeven. He is a member of the Committee of the International Trade, and he's from Netherlands. Also, a friend that we all know. He was here with us last time. We have Honorable Mr. Reinhard Bütikofer. He is chair of the European Parliament Delegation for Relations with the People's Republic of China. Okay, having said that, these are the introduction of the all important members. Also here in the delegation, we have Deputy Director General Liu Shifan from the European Parliament. Thank you here with us. Also many important members of the delegation here, colleagues important as well. Thank you so very much. Madam Chairperson, with your permission, shall we take questions from the reporters?
Absolutely.
Okay, so before we take questions, we like pictures first. We do, yeah? 要照相，要先照相还是先问问题 ？Very 好，那先照相 that? Okay, they're requesting picture first. So shall we do like a group picture together? Okay. So when we're taking picture, can we take the mask off? 我们可以先照相的时候可以拿起来，对不对？好 ，Okay, that's okay. Excellent. So very help. Okay, I think we have some questions from reporters. So please raise your hand, your name, your media outlet. Okay, first, yeah, yes, please. Is it Rick? Yes.
Hi, I'm Rick Glauert from Taiwan Plus. I just wanted to know what sort of opposition do you think EU-Taiwan bilateral investment agreement faces? Is there concern in Europe, for example, about opposition or retaliation from China?
Thank you very much for that insightful question. Let's start by being positive. First of all, in its resolutions, the European Parliament has openly called upon the Commission and the Council to launch an impact assessment and commence all the preparatory work that would lead to beginning a discussion on a bilateral investment agreement. Taiwan is a very important trading partner for the European Union. It's the 12th trading partner in terms of goods. We are the biggest source of foreign direct investment in Taiwan. 25% of all Taiwanese FDI comes from the European Union. It's actually more than the United States and Japan combined. So we already have a very important relationship. What we want to do is deepen this relationship. And I think that, like many things in politics, you know, are a question of timing. The timing now, geopolitically, geostrategically, after the pandemic, which made us realize in Europe that we have some very important strategic dependencies on some of our trading partners, like China, notably. The war of Putin in Ukraine. These are all factors that have made the importance of our relationship even greater. Not to mention, of course, the fact that Taiwan is a front runner in innovation when it comes to semiconductors. So I think that we shouldn't be looking at the barriers right now. I think what we should be looking at is the goal. And the goal is to move toward a bilateral investment agreement or a free trade agreement, or maybe a supply chain agreement, or all of those in some succession. The goal is to start formalizing this relationship and make it even deeper.
Excellent. We need translation for these very important words.
感谢您非常有深度的提问。首先，我们从正面的谈起哦，就是说我们在欧洲议会所通过的决议案，就是要呼吁我们的欧洲执委会以及理事会要开始去做跟台湾洽签双边投资协议相关的一些影响力评估，还有相关的准备工作。那事实上，台湾是一个非常重要的欧盟的贸易伙伴。事实上，就以货贸的量来讲呢，台湾是第12大。同时，欧盟也是台湾最大的 FDI 外国直接投资的来源，占台湾的 FDI 25%，还超过了美国跟日本的加总。因此呢，欧盟跟台湾的重要的贸易关系是既有的，我们只是想要把这个既有的重要关系再加以深化。谈到政治的议题，通常也会不免要谈到很多事情的时机，尤其是在疫情之后的许多地缘政治以及地缘战略来讲呢，我们欧盟也发现，我们其实在后疫情时代，其实也在一些贸易方面呢，也是有过于依赖的关系，尤其是针对中国。那俄罗斯入侵乌克兰，也是我们在这个地缘政治以及地缘战略的一些考量的因素之一。因此，这些的因素呢，使得我们跟台湾的关系更加的重要。更何况台湾又是创新以及半导体科技的领头羊。因此，我觉得现在我们的着重点不应该是贸易有哪一些的障碍，而是我们在贸易工作的推展要把着眼点放在什么样的目标上面。例如说，跟台湾之间无论是洽签双边投资协定、自由贸易协定，甚至是供应链协定等等，这些的工作的重要的目标，就是要让台湾跟欧盟已经很重要的关系呢，再进一步正式化。
Thank you very much. Okay, more questions? How about from this aisle? Yes, please. Let me see your hand. Yes, please. Yeah. 这个是小乔，在我 CNA. Okay, yes. 小乔 first.
Hi, welcome to Taiwan. I'm Joseph from Central News Agency, and I want to do a follow-up from my colleague Taiwan Plus. So you said everything is about timing. So do you see now is the best time ever? Because I have been covering MOFA news for 15 years now, and over the past 15 years, we have been calling for a BIA and never actually started the preparatory talks. So now and our foreign minister also pointed out that the only obstacle is China. So now your talks with China on the possible trade deal is on hold now. Do you see this is the best ever opportunity for us to begin such talks on possible BIA? Thank you.
No, thank you, Joseph. Yes, I spoke about timing and the circumstances where we are at the moment. And the circumstances where we are at the moment are that our relationship with Taiwan is more important and is at a good stage, and our relationship with China has some issues, which my colleagues and I will elaborate on a little bit later. We have, as you know, a very complex relationship with China, but at the moment, our relationship with respect to trading in the CAI has been put on hold because of these sanctions that have been imposed on my colleagues, amongst them the Honorable MEP Bütikofer. So I'd say that we're closer than ever to the correct timing. It's actually an interesting question in the sense that things would have to get much worse for it to be even better timing, and that's not something anybody is looking forward to. So I think, though, that the timing is more ripe than ever.
Translation, please. Thank you.
的确，我刚刚在上一题的回答中有谈到实际的问题，以及我们当前所面临的状况。而我们当前面临的状况就是我们跟台湾的关系更加的重要，同时我们跟中国的关系、贸易关系其实也更加的复杂。中国那边有一些议题必须要先解决，那相关的议题我稍后还会再跟大家进一步解说。重点是说我们跟中国之间的贸易关系，以及我们跟中国之间的双边的贸易的协定的讨论呢，目前是在冻结的状况。那主要是因为中国他们对我们一些欧洲议会的议员，包括我们在座的包瑞汉议员呢，其实是有一些制裁行为的。我们必须要等到这些制裁行为有所下落，才能够进一步去进行跟中国的 CAI 的一个进一步的讨论。那当然，我们现在跟台湾之间能够洽签 BIA 的这个时机点是越来越好的，是更接近更好的时机点的。虽然说很讽刺，感觉好像一些事情要恶化才会让这个时机变得更好，但是事实上我们真的是在距离跟台湾洽签 BIA 最好的时间，离那个时间点最近的一个时候。
Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson. So, is there more questions? 有没有其他问题 ？Yeah, this aisle. 是梦丽还是梦丽还是自由？有没有问 ？Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. Rick again. Yeah. Why not? Second round.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask about support from the EU member states for closer ties with Taiwan in terms of trade and investment, and whether, as you mentioned, timing, whether that is changing and what factors are in play if there are changing attitudes. Thank you.
Okay, I guess if I were with the council, I would have a better way of answering that, but because I do want you to understand that, and in relation also to Joseph's question before, that the support in the European Parliament for Taiwan, the understanding of the fact that Taiwan has faced aggression, coercion, threats, is overwhelming. It is not something that has anything to do with either party politics or national member state lines. So when it comes to the Parliament, the support is unanimous. When it comes to the Council, I'm sure there are some countries that want closer ties more quickly and some countries that are a little bit more reluctant, depending also on the relationship that these countries have with China, in the sense that one cannot predict what the consequences might be. One can only be prepared. And in fact, in the Trade Committee, we are now preparing a host of new instruments that are exactly meant to give us the tools we need to respond to economic coercion, such as what China did in Lithuania, which is similar to what China did in Australia, but something that would allow us as the European Union to have a response, and something that would, even more importantly, act as a deterrent to this type of behavior. Oh, the translator. Yes.
Excellent point. Yeah, translation, please. Thank you.
如果我是欧盟理事会的成员的话，我可能比较能够清楚地回答这一题。但是我们在欧洲议会来讲，我们对台湾的 的支持，同时也理解台湾的一些处境，例如说台湾所面临到来自中国的胁迫以及威胁，真的是非常的巨大。因此，我们在欧洲议会对台湾的支持非常的一致。可是，在理事会的话，就是说有一些会员国的确，他们比较想要更快速的去深化跟台湾的关系。那有些国家可能他对于深化台湾关系这件事情，可能意愿没有这么的高。那这要看就是个别的会员国他们跟中国之间的关系是怎么样。那在我们国贸委员会，当然我们也是在准备好各式的工具，让我们能够去因应许多中国的经济胁迫，就像是中国对立陶宛以及对澳洲的经济胁迫的手段一样。所以我们要去制定这些工具出来，帮助我们欧盟不只是能够因应中国的经济胁迫，甚至如果能够提前嚇阻的话，那更好。
Thank you very much. I don't know if there's more questions from. Yes, please. Yes, right, Chen Yu from Liberty Times, right? Yeah.
Good afternoon. Hello, I'm Chen Yu from the Liberty Times. As the House Speaker of Czech Republic, Adamova, announced she will visit Taiwan in March next year. Would you like to urge more and more leaders of the EU member states Congress to visit Taiwan for deepening business ties and cooperation? Thank you.
Absolutely. We, like I said, we come as friends. I'm a deep believer in parliamentary diplomacy, for example. We had a wonderful lunch yesterday hosted by the president of the Legislative Yuan. It was really with fellow parliamentarians across your political parties. These types of exchanges, whether they're heads of state, whether they're parliamentarians, whether they're ministers, these types of exchanges can only foster a better understanding and a closer cooperation. So yes, I would encourage that.
Great, thank you. Translation, Zhao, thanks.
我们是以朋友的身份来到台湾的，那当然我也非常大力支持所谓的国会外交。昨天我们也跟尤院长以及许多跨党派的台湾的立委们也共进了非常愉快的午餐。那我相信像这些交流，无论是国家元首、政府首脑，还是议会，还是政府的部门，其实这些的交流都能够进一步深化对彼此之间的一个了解，甚至能够深化彼此的合作。
Thank you very much. I don't know whether some more questions there for 孟丽中时 China Times.
A few days ago, China mentioned that it hoped to continue to move forward on the EU-China Comprehensive Agreement. So, according to your answer earlier, may I say that there is no chance to resume that before China lift the sanctions?
Thank you for allowing me to clarify and elaborate on that previous response. Like I said, we have a complicated relationship with China. China is a partner on some things, a competitor, and also what we call a systemic rival, which I'm sure you understand more than we do. And our politics vis-a-vis China are always shifting. And we are in a difficult situation now because of these sanctions that have been put on our parliamentarians. So I don't expect that this will be solved very soon. I don't expect to see any movement in the near future, let's put it that way.
Thank you very much. We need translation, please.
非常您敢给我这个机会，让我澄清或进一步解释我先前的题目的回答。就像我先前说的一样，我们跟中国的关系算是蛮复杂的。在一些方面，我们跟中国是伙伴关系；在一些方面，我们跟中国是竞争关系，甚至整体来说，中国也是我们的一个系统性的对手。那事实上，在中国，他们的政治是非常瞬息万变的，因此我们现在的处境也十分的为难。那主要也是因为中国也是对我们的一些欧洲议会的议员寄出了一些制裁，而且我相信这些制裁手段在近期的未来应该是不会有解决的可能。
Madam Spokesperson, could I on this question perhaps ask Mr. Butikofer, who is responsible for the delegation for China and understands this relationship much better than I can and has more experience, to supplement the answer? Thank you.
好，接下来 接下来我们请这个对中关系的代表团团长，我们的鲍日汉议员，因为他对于中国的事务以及欧盟中国关系是更加了解的，请他来补充这一题。
Thank you. The comprehensive agreement on investment had been pushed by the People's Republic of China, not mainly for economic, but for political reasons. It was conceived as an instrument for driving an economic wedge between the EU and the United States. That's why it was concluded at that particular moment. That motivation has not gone away. And we see that the PRC continues pushing CAI as far as they are concerned. And additionally, there's also a fact that Xi Jinping, their supreme leader, has invested personal political capital into getting CAI ratified, and the party emperor cannot fail, so somehow they have to deliver the deal. But that's not our rationale. And from our point of view, it is, as has been said by the delegation leader, we will not even scrutinize the deal, far from yet considering ratification as long as the sanctions are in place. And there is, as far as I can understand, no chance that China might lift the sanctions anytime soon, and the legislative period of the parliament is going to end a year and a half from now. So I would say it's a pretty safe assumption that for the next 2 years at least, this is dead as a doornail. And from European business, of course, some leaders have advocated for CAI. But many voices have argued that this deal is not what we would need, because it would not protect our businesses against unfair practices like data localization mandates, or the anti-sanctions law in China, or other impediments for doing business fairly and squarely. There is not a huge push to get this done. So I think, as has been said, I can sign on to that. Probably it's gonna be water under the bridge. And the real issues in EU-China relations lie elsewhere.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Beauty Coffer, translation for that. Thank you, Jia.
当初中华人民共和国跟我们欧盟想要去推动所谓的中欧投资协定的时候呢，他们并不是希望有，他们并不是基于一些经济的原因，甚至还有背后有政治的一些原因。他们希望说，透过这样子的一个中欧投资协定的签订，能够去进一步去影响欧盟跟美国之间的一个经贸关系。那事实上呢，就是中华人民共和国他们在推这个中欧投资协定的时候呢，习近平他其实本人也投注了非常非常多的政治资本，希望说能够早日去批准像这样子的一个协定。但是他们背后他们有自己的目的，跟我们欧盟的目的并不一致。而从我们欧盟的一个角度来看呢，尤其是我身为对中关系的一个团长代表团的团长，事实上我们认为说这样子的投资协定必须要予以进一步检视。那尤其是如果在中国对我们欧洲议会议员的一些制裁没有被消除之前呢，我们是没有办法进一步予以批准像这样子的协定的。而我并不认为说中国在近期的未来会把这样子的一个制裁呢予以解除，而且接下来我们欧洲议会的会期也即将要结束，因此应该可以说接下来2年应该都还是维持这个现状。那事实上，当然我们在整个欧盟的企业圈里面，有一些企业也是赞成中欧投资协定的，会去提倡。但是也有一些企业认为说，像这样子的投资协定，并不是我们欧盟所需要的，因为这个协定 的条文呢，并不能够有效的去保护欧洲的企业，尤其在中国经商的企业呢，比如说像是许多的资料要在地化啦，或者是中国技术的一些反制裁法等等的不公平的贸易或者是经商作为呢，事实上都会伤害到欧洲的企业。那我相信，就是欧洲跟中国之间的关系如此的复杂，还有许多的议题，这在其他各个方面都有。
Thank you very much. If there's no any other further questions, no further questions. Right? Oh, there's more? Okay, from Xiaoqiao Joseph, CNA. Last questions, perhaps?
I just want, since we don't want to talk about China anymore, we want to see if there's anything Taiwan can do, if you think Taiwan needs to improve, like some trade areas still have to make improvements to push closer to BIA. Thank you.
Thank you. That was the perfect question, because that's what I was going to say in closing. I think it was Kennedy who said once, don't ask what you can do for your country, ask what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. So in that spirit, and having said that, at the European Parliament, we will continue to push in the direction of starting the negotiations with the BIA. But as I told your foreign minister, as I told your president on behalf of our delegation, there are two things that can be done from Taiwan's perspective. Maybe he wants to translate.
Yes, translation, but it's important words.
非常感谢您的提问，让我能够将这个答案呢跟我的结语能够予以结合。甘乃迪总统曾经说过，就是不要过问说国家为你做了什么，而是你要为国家做些什么。事实上，在我们欧洲议会当中，我们也是持续的推动，我们看能不能够跟台湾洽签双边的双边的投资协定。那先前我在拜会外交部长以及在觐见总统的时候，也都有特别谈到，其实从台湾的角度可以先做2件事情。
The first thing, you talk about our trading relationship with China and what the limitations are of that and where it's going. But Taiwan has 40% of its trade with China. Some say 38 to 45, depending if you take Hong Kong into account. So that's a big relationship. So first of all, we would like reciprocity in this relationship in terms of investment. So considering investments in Europe would be a very important factor that would push us closer in this relationship. That's the first thing.
第一件事情就是说，我知道我们欧盟跟中国之间的一些贸易关系其实是有许多的限制的。那台湾呢，对中国的贸易来讲，这个是非常大的一个关系，重大的关系，因为台湾有40%的贸易是对中。那如果要考虑到有没有香港的话，那这个数字可能是浮动在38%到45%之间。那我们希望说，就是台湾跟欧盟之间的相互投资应该要是以互惠为前提。所以说，如果台湾能够增加对欧盟的投资的话，这是首先第一个很重要的议题。
You mentioned irritants, and that's the second thing. We had meetings with representatives of European industry, and I can tell you that there's two basic categories of irritants. And I remind you that China is a member of the WTO since 2002. We also support, Taiwan is a member since 2002. And we also support, of course, Taiwan being a member in as many possible international organizations. But the representatives of industry told us that in the case of investments that have to do with offshore wind farms, for example, the local content requirement and the permittings is something that's creating difficulty in the investment relationship. We also have heard about issues with the phytosanitary regulations. So I was pleased, and I'm sure my colleagues were as well, to hear in our briefing by the Deputy Minister of Economic Affairs, also by the Foreign Minister, and we discussed this also with the President, to hear that there are concrete steps being made in the direction of making these irritants go away. It would be a real shame when Taiwan is looking to supersede the blockage of China in joining other international organizations for there to be any issues amongst us in the WTO, which is the only international organization Taiwan is already a member in.
Translation, please.
再来第2件事情就是有关贸易障碍了。那事实上，我们此次访问也有去拜会许多的欧洲在台湾的企业，他们也向我提出了，其实在台湾的投资有2大障碍。 那事实上，台湾其实从2002年开始就是世界贸易组织的成员，那我们也是支持台湾能够尽可能的参与越多国际组织越好。但是我们这些企业代表跟我们讲说，他们在投资离岸风电的时候，面对台湾就是离岸风电的自治率的这样子一个限制呢，事实上会大幅的增加投资的困难度。除此之外，还有动植物的检疫法规，这也是一个很大的障碍。因此呢，当经济部的次长以及外交部长还有总统在跟我们开会讨论的时候，跟我们谈到台湾这方面已经采取了具体的步骤，能够把这些障碍呢予以减少或消除，我非常的高兴。那事实上呢，我觉得在比如说中国在整个国际贸易的一个情形上，在处于一个低潮的时期。如果台湾没有办法趁着这个浪潮能够加码去深化跟大家的贸易关系的话，那会非常的可惜。又更何况台湾本来就已经是世界贸易组织的成员了。
Thank you. Okay, so if there's no further questions, I think we took the last questions, and there's no further comments from Madam Chairperson
Just to say that for the past 3 days, we have felt very much at home in what we consider to be a vibrant, prosperous, innovative democracy. Thank you very much for your hospitality. Thank you for making us feel that we are true friends of Taiwan.
Thank you so much. Yeah, translation.
过去3天以来，我们在台湾期间呢，都非常的自在，就像在家一样。那我们在这个地方也见证到台湾这个非常繁荣也非常发扬光大的一个民主的一个社会。那事实上。也非常感谢，就是在此行我们吸收到所有的热情的款待，让我们感觉到就是宾至如归，大家都是好朋友。
So if Madam Chairperson allows me, I would like to take this opportunity to thank her for her leadership and for each one of the very distinguished members from the European Parliament for visiting Taiwan, coming from so far away, and for your very hectic schedule. Your presence is so meaningful for us. It's been so significant. I remember when we first received the allegation of ING, we said, may this be the beginning of many more. And this is the third official delegation from European Parliament, and so may Taiwan be the home for you to welcome you many, many more times. Thank you very much, Madam Chairperson. Thank you very much for each one of you, very honorable. And shall we say, we'll see you next time. Thank you, and thank you for each one of you for being here. Thank you.